Brendan Baker, and this is my speech over jogging. Is it really that bad, or is it really that good? Question, what would be the easiest and most effective form of exercise that y'all could think of? Start from this way. So, just start saying anything.
Running.
Running?
I don't know what kind of question you asked.
Well, what, if you were to pick an exercise, like any kind of exercise, what would be the best for losing weight or getting healthy?
Weightlifting.
Weightlifting? Go ahead, Rob.
Swimming.
Swimming, sir?
Walking.
Good.
Eating.
Eating.
Jogging?
Jogging. Wrong, kind of wrong, best answer, kind of wrong. So jogging apparently is really, really bad in terms of weight loss, muscle gaining, hormone levels. It can really affect your joints, your knees, your ankles. And just by doing things that cost half as much time, can produce twice or even 3 times as much results. So what qualifies me to kind of tell you these things is that I have actually applied these things, utilized these things to better myself physically and health. I've gained 40 pounds of muscle and also lost 20 pounds of excess fat over the past 3 years. I'm going to school for a health degree, and I plan on getting a personal training certification when I graduate. So I'm going to go over 3 different main points. The first one is kind of defining the different types of steady-state cardio. Dylan went over the first one, is jogging. Jogging is easily one of the most popular forms of exercise because it's just easy to lace up your tennis shoes and go run outside. Biking is another alternative, but this is one that requires equipment. But it tends to be a little bit more easier on the joints since you're not running on the pavement and pounding your knees as much. And swimming is another one. But all these 3 things kind of fall into the same category of steady-state cardio, which goes back to, not as good for you or not as good for your body in terms of fat composition or body composition. Now, some kind of points that I can kind of go over to kind of qualify my statements. The first one is a contributor for the magazine Muscle and Fitness, and he says, performing a lot of endurance work leads to metabolic adaptations that bias the body into burning off muscle tissue, which basically means by jogging, swimming, or biking, and if you just do that form of exercise all the time, that you'll actually be gaining fat instead of gaining muscle more. So, now, what kind of impact can jogging have on your body, or swimming or biking? Have you ever looked at Olympic marathon runners, and they look like sick, or they look frail, like they're really skinny, or really just like sticks? And then you look at the sprinters, and the sprinters always look like football players. They're always real muscular, real lean. Well, it's the sprinters that got the right idea. They're sprinting for short distances, but doing really hard. That's actually how your body is built, and your body is better able to adapt to that kind of stress. And they're working what's called the fast twitch muscle fibers. There's 2 types of muscle fibers in your body. There's the fast twitch muscle fibers, which produce a lot of force and a lot of strength, and it's what sprinters and weightlifters will use to kind of produce a lot of force in a short amount of time. And then you have your slow twitch muscle fibers, which are your endurance muscle fibers. These don't grow nearly as much as, say, the fast twitch ones, and that's why endurance runners always look so frail and sickly, because they're the only types of muscles that are working. And that, if you were to take an X-ray of an endurance runner, they look, they have more fat on them basically instead of muscle. So you compare that. Another point I can use to qualify my statements is an ACSM certified personal trainer, Pamela Hernandez, defines interval training, which is something you can use instead of jogging to get healthier, as a form of cardio training that involves high cycles of high intensity and low to moderate intensity recovery. So that's just basically sprinting and walking, sprinting and walking, sprinting and walking. And 2 of the alternatives you can use to jogging, swimming, or biking is interval training and strength training, which were brought up. And these are good because, for one, they work as fast twitch muscle fibers, and 2, it's more fun. You get to lift weights and not just run, 10, 15 miles, and it's just not boring. And my last point to qualify what I'm saying is the personal trainers at Glasgow City Gym, which is a world-famous powerlifting gym in England, recommends weight training over jogging because it prevents muscle imbalances and burnout. So you're more likely to just go to the gym and do what you need to do instead of just like finding an excuse to not do anything. You can just eat, Garrett. And that's basically it. So yeah.